Hey everybody, it's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. Coming to you on WODU Studios, the best in college radio. I'm your host, Brendan Nabby, and my two co-hosts, Rashad Pinnell to my left and Kyler Lewis to my right. We're coming to you on Rabble TV, Spreaker, and iTunes, so make sure you guys check us out on there. We air every Monday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Also, tweet us at KBR_sports and subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can see our past shows and past segments. And also, if you want to join in on the debate, you can call in at 757-683-4405. But to get things started, how y'all feeling?
You forgot about commenting on YouTube.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, comment on the YouTube page also, so you can read your comments live during the stream. Yeah, how you guys doing today?
Good. This day looks like it's gonna be a good day. Even though it's gonna be a little cold. Just a little bit. It's still gonna be a good day.
I took that 5-hour energy. Sensational.
It's good to hear. All right, guys, let's get into the topics for today. Starting off, we're going to be talking about the NBA and, this players resting at this point in juncture in the season. It seems like everybody gets to this point in the season where they start resting their players, following the Greg Popovich philosophy, it seems. And that's how does it impact the game and the fans, especially. We'll get into that. And also this whole D'Angelo Russell fiasco was been a whirlwind of what's swirling around after the story broke yesterday about how his recording of Nick Young impacted the Lakers' performance against the Utah Jazz a couple of days ago, on Monday, actually. So we'll talk about that. And we'll also get into Jim Irsay's comments about CTE and the link it has in connection to football. And then finally, we'll give our Final Four predictions to end out the show and, see how you guys may feel if you guys want to also weigh in and join in on the debate. But to get things started, it seems as though this NBA season that now the trend has been for people to start resting their players as we get later and later on into the season. We already seen San Antonio did it last week when they played Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City. They rested their players and they hung in there for the first half, and then they essentially lost by 19. But then we saw last night the Thunder chose to rest Kevin Durant and Serge Ibaka, which resulted in them losing to the Pistons 82-88. And then you see the Cavaliers also rested LeBron James, and it resulted in them losing to the Rockets, who the Rockets came back and won that game. So and they won 106-100. So when you look at the grand scheme of things, and you sit here, you think, okay, yeah, they're resting these guys for the long playoff run and stuff like that. But when they rest these players, it affects the fans coming to see them. As I read for some fans that came to watch the Oklahoma City game, because one guy he's a foreigner, he's a foreign exchange student, came from Germany, and all he wanted to do was come see Kevin Durant. It's kind of his dream. He loves Kevin Durant. And then there's another guy that's actually lives here, but he lives a couple of hours away from Houston, and so he drove to Houston to watch the game. Detroit. He came to Detroit to watch the game, and he said, I would say it's got to be a 9.5 out of 10 on his disappointment level of Durant sitting. It's pretty high. It's high. The only thing that would make up for that half is if I get a signature. It would lower a little if it would go way down. And then the dude's name that's actually the German foreign exchange student is Jarek Higeman, and he said for him this would probably be the only game he comes to in his life before he goes back. I would say like an 8 on my disappointment level because I really wanted to see him, but the whole experience is great for me. So when you guys look at it, and this Billy Donovan made the announcements about 90 minutes before the tip-off. So it wasn't like it was something that was pre-planned or anything. It was legit right before tip. And it was one of those things that it was such short notice. People were kind of taken aback by it. And the statement Donovan said about it, he said, it's not something we're dictating. They're a part of these conversations. We want to know how they're feeling, what they think, where they're at in terms of number of games played, being able to get them some rest, making sure they're fresh. All those things to go into the decision, which is them being a part of it. In order for any of it to work, Kevin and Serge have to be on board and say, yeah, this is what I want to do. Yeah, tonight's a good night to do that. So what do you guys think about the impact the NBA resting players is having on just the game overall, and then also on the fan bases? Kyle, let's start with you. What do you think?
Well, it's no late game. Late season is it's a smart play to try and rest your good players because you want to keep them healthy for the playoffs. If you're in a slot for the playoffs, But then again, it takes away from, like you said, the fans' experience. Fans come in to see Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, play this amazing game of basketball, and they don't get to see one of their favorite players, or a player that they enjoy watching play. It depletes the impact of the game overall. And also I think it also hurts the players as well. Well, some of the players. Like, I'm gonna take a situation like OKC. They resting Serge Ibaka and Kevin Durant, but Russell Westbrook isn't getting any rest. See, and he's probably feeling like it's. I know I can see the frustration in like his eyes. When I looked at a little interview, and he was just like upset about Reggie Jackson and his celebration stuff. And because when they beat them, he was like celebrating on the sidelines and stuff like that. And he was just feeling just all kinds of upset and whatever. But I feel like just him having to take the lead on the team kind of like put the pressure on them, and maybe made him feel like, maybe I need some rest too. And see, if you're gonna rest these players, rest them. Don't rest all of them at the same time or something like that. Rotate them a little bit. Give Kevin Durant one game to rest, and then Russell Westbrook the next game, and then Serge Ibaka or something like that. If you want to rest players, I don't think that they should though, because it takes away from the fans' experience, and you're gonna lose games. Even if your spot is like secure, you don't want to mess up your record or something like that. I know you're going to keep your players healthy and stuff like that, but just having those players on the court not only helps the overall morale of the team, it helps the fans' experience, and it'll get you a whole lot more ratings, airtime, merchandise, all that stuff like that, on the economic side of the thing.
Okay, Rashad, what do you think?
Shoot. Fans ain't gonna save a coach's job out here. If your team ain't well versed in the playoff, you go in hurt, you don't win a championship, you're out of there. You can look at Scott Brooks. Think about the fan base Oklahoma City used to bring in. Huge fan base. Can't win a championship, you're out of there. So
he still ain't won a championship.
So I look at it like, I'm doing what I need to do to win a championship. I care about the fans coming to see the game, but at the same time, the more fans in the stands ain't gonna make me win. It's unless you're at a certain place like Golden State where it's just crazy. But when I look at it, I'm just like, I'm more focused on my players, making sure they're ready going into the playoffs. It's playoff time. This is nothing new. You already know we're gonna rest players. I like it like when me and Brendan went to see Kobe play. If Kobe did rest and didn't play, I've been like, I'm disappointed. But it's not gonna like take away my experience to still be at a Lakers game. You know what I mean? I just don't get to see Kobe play. He still I probably get to see him there, but watching him play is something great. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I wasted my money now, because I'm still at a Lakers game. I'm still at my favorite team. Like you have people who like players, we have players who also like people who like teams. I'm a Lakers fan, not just a Kobe fan. So regardless of Kobe played or not, I would have still got the the experience of being at a Lakers game.
Okay, that's a good point you make about the fact that it doesn't save fans don't save a coach's job, and fans don't essentially, like, a coach has to coach for their job. Like, they're coaching to win games. Mm-hmm. But in that same sense, the fans kind of help you get to where you want to be. Mm-hmm. Because Golden State definitely does have the best home crowd there is. Yeah. But Oklahoma City isn't that far behind. Oklahoma City was the best home crowd a couple years ago. Yeah. They Oklahoma City is pretty much right up there with Golden State. Golden State is this war core arena, because when you see guys hitting threes all the dang time, of course you're going to get excited. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things, and I think it's one of those things. I understand why they do it, but there was a point in time it felt like, because Michael Jordan would try and play every single game back in the day. And I feel like this is sort of a new age revolution kind of thing. Because back in the day, you tried to play all the 82 games if you could. If you never tried, there was no thing about rest. You hear a lot of the old players will talk about it. There was no thing of, we're going to rest guys are going to sit out, blah, 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 this. It was always, we got to try and get out as many games as we can. If you're hurt, all right, you play hurt. If you're injured, you sit out. But if you can play, you can play. That's how it was in the older style. And I feel like as we got into this new age of players, where the game is more, the game is more power. The power is more in the players' hands. And especially after we saw what LeBron did with the move to Miami, when he went to Miami a couple of years ago, and now Greg Popovich has started resting his guys. A lot of people have followed suit. So it can't take away. Yes, as a Laker fan, you're seeing Kobe is an exciting thing, but when you can say, hey, I saw Kobe play once in my career, you can say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That guy got taken away the chance of, because I mean it's a German guy, one of the dudes that was there. I mean, who knows how many scenarios are similar to his? And when you get that experience to be able to say, I saw my favorite player, Kevin Durant, play, or I saw so and so play. And you feel, especially with this new technology that we have that's supposed to help keep players healthier for longer periods of time, you sit there and you're like, well, why are they resting guys so consistently? Because I mean, it's different. Like the San Antonio logic, and the thing is, I think some of it makes it worse because they'll rest guys on like TNT nights kind of games. Like if the Spurs are playing the Warriors, the Spurs are going to sit like 4 guys. And it's like,
and then they lose.
But it's like, why did you choose that game instead of a game against the Lakers where you played Timmy and you played all these guys? Why would you choose a game against the Golden State Warriors where you know the tickets are selling like crazy against them for that game, and you know a lot of people are going to be tuning in? I guess that's kind of, you guys kind of see that.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree. I completely agree with you. Like, I agree with you on the aspect of like, you understand those are big games that everybody's coming to see. That's on TV, nationally shown. You also have like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you do have people who don't get the chance often, you know, so they go to a game like once in a lifetime experience. But at the same time, I feel like they're like, well, I didn't know he was going to be there, or I mean, I can't do nothing for him or something like that in a sense. Wait,
what do you mean?
Like the German guy. How he's like, well, you know, I don't get the opportunity to come here again. I'm sure, like, well, it was like, well, I didn't know he was going to be at this game or something like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't like, you don't as an owner or a coach or anything, you don't really know who's going to, you know, be at your game. Like, I'm sure in their mind when they go to media, I'm sure they feel bad. Like, wow, I really wish I could have gave him this experience he wanted, but I didn't know. Something like that. I just felt like I had to do what's best for me. And going back, I agree with you about the old things. How they be like, well, you want to play all the games, you can. But at the same time, if you look at the team who did that, it was the team that was winning, right? It was the Bulls who constantly win championships. So when you come into it, that's like you follow what works for that team to win a championship. So when you see the Spurs now, you see what they win championships. This is what they do to win championships. We need to follow them now. They're the trendsetter right now. Kind of like the Bulls were the trendsetter back then. Like, we're gonna play all the games. We gotta make sure we're up to key. You know what I'm saying? Don't miss a game because, you know, shot might get off or something like that. But Pop is like, well, I'm winning championships by letting my players rest, make sure they're healthy in the playoffs. Yeah. So it's kind of like teams follow what goes on in the era.
You're right. It's a copycat league.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why everybody wants to shoot threes now. It's a copycat league.
Exactly.
But so also to that point, because when you say that they don't know who's coming to the arena, but when you have to garner for any fan. I mean, you're hoping that your fan base is that widespread that, because I mean, think about, even if the guy wasn't from Germany, think about if I'm a guy that lives in Washington and I'm traveling to Los Angeles to watch, you're anticipating people are making those kind of commitments to watch you do this and that all the time. You know what I mean? That's kind
paying all this money for a ticket.
Yeah, because
all favorite player,
all the people that fill that stadium aren't all people of the local area. Yeah. Those are people coming from all over. You know, all the Golden State fans travel so well. Those are people that travel from everywhere, all over the place. So when you implement this method, because you're right, it's a copycat league. So when they see Greg Popovich doing it, and then they see how effective these guys are in the postseason. But see, to me, another thing is though, in terms of Greg Popovich doing it, the Spurs players are also older than a lot of the guys that are resting now.
Yeah,
like Kevin Durant's 28, 29. You know, Serge Ibaka is about the same age. Russell Westbrook's played every game of this season. I mean, he's just athletically a freak. Yeah. And when you see, now you're hearing them start talking about, oh, well, Golden State start resting guys. Stephen Curry's 28 years old. And Klay Thompson's 27, 28. These guys are all young guys. And so, but I mean, Golden State's going to go for the record.
But yeah, they're going for the record. But at the same time, it's not really about your age, because anything can happen at any night. You don't want, because think about it. Think about that Paul George injury. No one would saw that coming. You'd be like, you know, young guy, nice stable bones, calcium good.
But that can happen at the beginning of the season.
That can happen at any point. But I mean, if you look at Pop, I mean, Pop rests people at the beginning of the season. But Pop always rests.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Greg Pop. That's why I said beforehand. The Spurs are different just because they're older. Yeah, because when you're older, you're more prone to those injuries. When Kobe tore his Achilles, he was an older dude. Kobe was 35. Yeah. 35. So when you played all those minutes on Kobe, when Kobe was younger, he did that. He did that for all those terrible coaches that, you know, Lord knows, that came from Lakerland. He did that for those coaches, and he was fine. Yeah. But when you're older, your body can't take as much. You're gonna start feeling the wear and tear, and then eventually your body gives out.
See, I do agree, but I mean, in the aspect of Pop always resting, because at the same time, Pop's always at the top of the conference most of the time. His spot's always secure at the time where he feel like, well, I mean, I can go up or I can go down. The way other teams are playing, so I'm stuck where I am in a sense. Because most of the times, where the Spurs are is where the Spurs going to be.
Do you mind if I interject real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
See, so then if they're at the top, then wouldn't that because for other teams that aren't at the top, right?
Yeah.
And if your position could possibly like right now, the Cavaliers, they wrestle LeBron James. Toronto's right on your butt for the first seed in the East. So
you don't rest your best player.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. If it's one of those things that you're not even solidified in your spot, then why do you rest your
Do you
guy?
feel like it's a confidence factor in the team though? Like think about it, the Spurs can win anywhere.
They can.
So I'm saying it's like honestly, home court really doesn't, in a sense, doesn't matter because they can easily take one of your home wins from you. Now you got to go there and take one from them. See, that's what's great about the Spurs. The Spurs is undefeated at home. The Warriors undefeated at home. You can easily go to team and take one of their wins from their home, but can they come easily do that to you?
But see,
you can rest in teams like that where they can drop and lose the home court advantage throughout the whole playoffs.
See, sorry for interjecting on you like that. Well, Carly, you want to say something?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So that's the only thing for me because the Spurs are. I'm putting the Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs is different.
They're older. When you see guys like Oklahoma City and whatnot resting people, then what's the case for that? Because say if Oklahoma City played Cleveland in the finals, right?
You want home court advantage against Cleveland.
Yeah, you still want home court. So you rest your guys, and then Cleveland ends up having a better record than you. Then you have to go to Cleveland and win it. You don't know if you can do that. Oklahoma City hasn't shown that they can do that. So when the Spurs are a whole different thing because the Spurs resting is justified because you want Tim Duncan in them because they're older guys. But
I feel like they've done it. I mean, it's not to the extent it is now. You rest in the beginning of the season extent type stuff. But I mean, the Spurs used to always, even when they were younger. I'm not gonna say because obviously we haven't watched them when they were. I can't sit here and say I clearly watched them when they were completely in their prime. Stuff like that. But for the times, for as much as I've been watching Spurs from like high school, middle school ish, they rested. It wasn't as significant as it is now, but they've always been a team that rested. And there's always been with Pop's thing was always like, well, I need to make sure my guys are good because it's all about it winning a championship here.
Now,
yeah, go ahead, Colin. Go ahead.
Also, I went to think like taking into effect a point about like positioning in like the playoffs. Even if your space is not secured and you're not playing you're not using your star players to play all your games, and you may drop down to fourth, you may have to play a team that's going to give you a run for your money, or that's going to keep you playing into like round 6, rather than playing a team that you can sweep easily and then have all that rest.
But see, this is how I feel about that. At the same time, yeah, I do agree. Like you do games quicker by playing certain teams, and it's harder when you go through 7 games. It's harder, you're worn out for the next series. But the way I look at it, eventually you're gonna have to play that team regardless where you play them. If you want to make the finals, you got to go to that team regardless.
But
matchups get better. I mean, seeding gets better. Matchups are different.
If you sweep the team in the first round, you have the rest for the next team. And even if the team is a good team, you'll still have that rest.
Yeah,
you'll have.
Go ahead. No, sorry. I'll finish what you're saying.
You'll have a week or so to rest, so it's gonna give you that time to not only prepare for. It's not only time for you to relax and get your rest up. It's also time for you to prepare for that next team.
But see, I don't think a lot of teams. Me personally, I don't think a lot of teams need that rest because a lot of these teams aren't as consistent as like the Warriors and stuff like that. Where you can stop playing, get in the basketball flow. Because we've seen teams who sweep somebody and then come out the next game and get blown out just because they haven't played basketball in a week against in a competitive aspect. You know what I'm saying? You still practice everything. You still everything, but it's not the same speed as a game. And we come out when I see that team that just came out that series is still still in that mode, even though they're more worn out. You've seen some of them get big wins in the first game. And then that's when they flip the switch back on.
So then why would a team like Oklahoma City rest? Why would you rest now? And then later on in the playoffs, if you're talking about that same rest could also hamper that team. Yeah. And also in the West. Well, no, Western Conference, that's I'll go my fault.
In
the Western Conference, when you see like if you rest, that could be the difference between you. Oklahoma City plays better against San Antonio than they do against Golden State.
Yeah.
So that can be the difference between who you play in that next round. If Oklahoma City fell to 4th, they might be more likely to play Golden State. And I think they actually would play Golden State right now. Whereas where they're seeded right now, they play. Actually, no, I think right now they might be seeded to play Golden State in the second round. Golden State will play 8th, and then I don't care.
Second, third.
Yeah, but wherever your seeding lies, it can put you against a possible opponent that you want the matchup against. Just like if Cleveland is to play right now, 8th is what? 8th is Detroit. So Cleveland would play 8th right now, who is Detroit. But then if you go to 7th, I believe is either
Celtics.
No, I think the Celtics are 5th.
Yeah,
I believe it's either the Pacers or who else?
And see that I don't think the Pacers are the team the Cavaliers want, because that Pacers LeBron matchup is always,
But do you see?
Yeah, I kind of see. Yeah, seeding change.
So when you lose a game, and then Toronto can come and end up playing the Detroit, where Cleveland knows they can. I mean, they can do what they want with Detroit.
Yeah.
But when that seeding changes now,
the Cavs will play Pacers because the Pacers is in the 8th spot.
Oh, the Pacers are in the 8th. Oh, the Pistons are 7th. So the Cavs will play the Pacers right now, and then
the Raptors will play.
6 is the Hornets, and 5 is okay.
You look at some, like, okay, back to your Thunder, like the back to your Thunder thing. You look at that team, your mega stars are injury prone players now. Like, yeah, I mean, Russell Westbrook playing the whole season, been good, but ever since his freak injury happened to his knee, he's been kind of wishy-washy with injuries. Kevin Durant's been wishy-washy with injury, and you still have, when you lose one of those players, how big of an impact it makes on your team. And certain coaches and certain owners fear that. They fear going into playoffs. Like, we can't lose this guy. We can take a couple of losses. We can change the matchup as long as we have them in the playoffs. Same thing with the Warriors. Steph Curry, before his ankles got a lot stronger, he used to have some ankle problem. You can't lose Steph Curry going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
You can't lose Draymond Green going into the playoffs.
Comment from Brianna Smith on YouTube. She said, I think that as a compromise for the fans to say this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, I feel that coaches should rest their star players for the second half. The NBA should take a hint from the NFL in their preseason strategy, and especially in the NBA. If a coach like Pop is not as concerned about their standing, then players not playing in the second half won't really make a difference. That is a good point. You still get to see them play. That's a really great point. Yeah, that's a really good solution, because that is what a lot of NFL teams do in the preseason. They don't play a RG3. They won't play a Tom Brady for the whole. It's like, that's a really good point. Because I'd be satisfied if I got to see Kevin Durant light it up on somebody
for 20 minutes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you get to see Kevin Durant play for X amount of minutes, and even if they have a bit of a lead, and they're like, okay, let's see at the bench, like just like how the Golden State does. Golden State's like, well, Steph, you know what? Might not need you for the rest of the game, buddy. This boy still would drop 30-some and a half.
And then he says the 4th, but at the same time, the fans already seen him play.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why her solution was great, because your fans get a bit of both. You know what I'm saying? You might not see him play the whole game, but you still got to see him do what he got to do. You might not see him rack up the whole 40, but then he looked good dropping that 18.
It was flash.
Those threes was looking nice.
Yeah, it was a flashy 18. My goodness. All right, y'all, we're going to move on to the next topic and talk about this whole D'Angelo Russell mess, man. D-Lo, what's going on, bro? Apparently, D'Angelo Russell has caused a big rift in between the Lakers locker room with a video earlier this week, like last week, that he recorded of his teammate Nick Young admitting that he's messed around with a couple of women, not specifically a 19-year-old. This is actually the transcript of the video. D'Angelo Russell asked Young at one point, so you was 30 and she was 19, referencing the age of the Nick Young and the girl that he met at the nightclub. Then D'Angelo goes on to ask him, what about Amber Rose? And then Nick Young says, nah, she knows my girl. And then somehow the video found its way on the social media. And then reportedly last night, or the report came out last night, and in a recent breakfast meeting, no one wanted to sit with D'Angelo Russell at the breakfast meeting. And then in the locker room, D'Angelo Russell went to go sit next to Lou Williams.
My man's got up
and left. So, and ESPN's Ramona Shelburne even said it's bad. It's almost as bad as it can get, because they already had trust issues. Now there's no trust. So, guys, what do you think about this whole development and the D'Angelo Russell situation? Rashad, I'll start with you. What do you think about it?
Oh, man. My man is just he did it. He did what no dude should ever do. in their life.
Broke the
Like,
guy code.
You can't. That's basically your brother, man.
That's not having a guy code.
That's just
female shouldn't do that either.
Yeah, nobody should do that. That's just
secretly record your. Oh, good.
Nah,
Okay, sorry,
like,
continue.
see, I feel like this is something like he was like, man, I'm jealous you got her. I want your girl. I'm about to expose you and take her from you.
Well, he did say they said it was a prank gone wrong.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I mean, that's not a prank.
So I mean,
that's not a prank. That is not. That is you don't do that for a prank. It ain't April Fool's yet. You do not do that for a prank. Maybe you did it on April 1st, and could cover it up like, oh, it's April Fool's joke. See if he's gonna get upset type thing. And what's funny is something like this happened to me too, and I was just like, because in high school, this person kept talking to me now, and I was like, no, I got a girlfriend. But just kept throwing stuff out, just flaunting this stuff. And so, I tell my boys, we running, we got track practice, we running. Some dude in the back just lurking. Dude wants my girl, just lurking, listening. He's like, wouldn't change the whole story. Wouldn't change the whole story. I'm like, you can't do that, man. That's wrong. So like, I understand why this man get shunned, man. I understand. But as far as they get blown out, no, they just bad. That's why they got blown out.
I mean, they lost. It tied a franchise worst. They lost 75 to 120. They lost like 48 points.
I mean, when people tie that, it's like
the Bucks would be back.
It's like they think D'Angelo Russell get all the points, so like teammates ain't passing him the ball no more, so he ain't scoring no more. No, that's not the case. The Lakers just bad.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The Lakers just bad.
That plays into it too.
I can't say they was dysfunctional playing basketball. Because my man, they got trust issues.
Are you left?
They would bump and take care for their pregame ritual.
Watching the game, there were points and times where I'm looking at D'Angelo Russell. He's wide open.
Yeah, I mean,
and then there were times that he's calling sets when he's bringing the man's a point guard, and then he's calling something. Everybody legit stood there and looked at him. Like I'm in my room watching this game. I'm like, what is happening? Like I'm watching it. I'm like, this doesn't look right. Because there was a point in time that legit everybody, like I can legit point to the positions everybody was on the court. See, I'm D'Angelo Russell right here. You're Kobe Bryant. That's Lou Williams. That poster back there is Brandon Bass, and the door is Roy Hibbert. Legit, everybody just stood around the windows, looked at him, and was like, "You got it." Like they just looked at him. I was just like, "Wow."
I mean,
understand.
He was shady. Like that was a snake move. That had to be the most snake move. Hold this L, D'Angelo.
All right, let me get to Colin. Colin, what do you think about it?
All right, so this is actually kind of funny. This is a funny story. That's messed up. That this man, he's videotaping they private conversations. Now on one side of the thing, Nick Young, that's your teammate, supposedly your brother. Things that he said to you is confidential. He's instill a sense of trust in you that is not meant to be broken, or that he feels like won't be broken. And this is just like, I understand like the whole why they do this, why they did it, or why they're like trying to isolate him. And it's like because the trust is gone. Like basically, if he's sitting next to you, you may think that he's gonna record you doing something, and it's gonna be out in the media the next day. I understand that, but they also have to take into account this man's only 19 years old. He's still a child, and his image.
Boy, now go ahead. I was just like little boy.
This man is a child, and you have to take into account this. He's not even 21 yet, so his immaturity in this league where you're expected to be an adult, it'll definitely show up in times, or show its face. So one thing that isolating somebody, especially a young person that's still trying to develop as an adult in this league, is like isolating them is gonna like ruin them, because everybody has even if they don't show it, people are still hurt by some of the things that you do. Even if D'Angelo Russell is like, oh, maybe it was a prank. He thought in his mind it was a prank because he's 19 years old versus Swaggy P who's 30, and he's like, oh, this is just a prank. So he probably gonna laugh after I show it to him. And when he realized that it wasn't like that, he probably felt some regret inside him. He had to, and just them shunning him is gonna make him feel even worse because he's so young and he's still trying to find himself. So the regret toppled onto all the isolation. It's just hurting his character. So I feel like they need to be adults about it and not move away when he sits at the table. I understand, yeah, you may think that he's ruining the trust of the organization, but the thing is, even if you're afraid that he might do this again, you have to talk to him because he's young and y'all have more experience. You have to talk to him and tell him, like, look, you can't be doing this. This not in a prank, especially in a league like this where we all adults. This ain't something you can do, and they'll put sense in the media and stuff like that. So talk to him, teach him that's not wrong because he's young. He needs the tutelage, and when you just shunning him like that, it just makes the man feel, it just hurts him even worse than what anything he could have done to y'all.
Brent, can I say something before you go?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want people to know, everybody watching, I don't approve of cheating. I don't. So don't think what I say is cheating. I'm just,
Oh my God.
I'm with the the manhood, the guy code, you can't do that to your bro type thing. But I don't approve of cheating. I don't approve of cheating. But you don't do that still.
See, man, this is a mess. The Lakers season is a mess. They suck. They're terrible. They're awful. And it's one of those things that it doesn't seem like this was just the ultimate nail in the coffin to just sum up how bad the Lakers season is and has been. Because because like you said, Khaled, it was meant to be a prank. Because at the end of the video, he does tell Nick Young, "Hey, how does it feel like you told that to my video?" But one thing I don't understand is how did you leave the room after that? Or even if y'all seen the hotel room, how does the video not get deleted right after? And see, this is one of those things. The immaturity. I understand what you were talking about with his maturity because he's young, and if people do say, I've read reports about D'Angelo Russell, and they say that he's like he's 20 years old now. Birthday was in February, but he's a 20-year-old kid. He acts like a 14-year-old. My little brother is 15. My little brother knows you do not record somebody when they're not aware of it, and then also go and somehow allow it to go onto social media. I don't know how it got onto social media, but because it's not like we haven't seen people's privacy been violated throughout hacking means or so. We saw, man, about a year or two ago when that whole iCloud scandal was going on and people's iClouds were getting hacked. We saw Kim Kardashian and Gabrielle Union, Megan Good, all these people were exposed to their iCloud being violated. So I don't know how, but I don't know. I just don't know how the video doesn't get deleted. Once you're like, okay, hey, I got you on camera. I don't know how it doesn't get deleted. There's no excuse for recording somebody and then allowing it to just even see the light of day at any point in time. I don't know why he kept it on his phone, what the essence of that was, but it was wrong. I mean, at the end of the day, it was wrong. It's wrong, but what Nick Young did was just cheating is never okay. All right, so what people saying, oh man, blah blah blah, you snitched. Well, it's not like he snitched.
I mean, he told on himself.
D'Angelo Russell did not go take this video and go say, Iggy, here, look. You know what I mean? He did not do that. But even though Iggy did tweet this morning, Iggy did tweet this morning saying that, hey, I see D'Angelo Russell's name is trending, and I actually like the video. Thanks, bro.
She was like, thanks, swag. I mean, thanks, D'Angelo Russell.
They were, what's the name? They were engaged, man.
Yeah, they were engaged. But it's one of those things.
That's tragic.
It's one of those things that honestly, because there's no excuse to record somebody when they don't know, and saying something what Nick Young didn't do. But it's weird because how do you even? If somebody's asking me all these questions, like even if it's one of my closest friends, I'm like, why are you asking me all these questions? Like these in-depth questions. I mean, your teammates, you might have a connection with your teammates that you feel like it's like a brotherhood. That's what it essentially is. I mean, you go through a whole 82-game season, you go through training camp, you guys feel like there's a bond there that you don't break. But I just don't.
There's sometimes the point where you have to question some of the things people do. Even if he was acting weird, asking all these questions, you gotta be like, okay. And why are you acting like this?
Yeah, and it's weird because how did the Lakers go on from this point? Because now you still have 8 games to go in the season, finishing up this Kobe Bryant tour, and now nobody trusts this guy. Like nobody, and how can you blame them? I mean, he did violate trust. He did all the things that you just don't do as a teammate. I mean, I can't even imagine
as a man.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But even it's not even limited to gender because even as a woman, I don't think any woman want their private conversation videotaped by one of their female friends without their knowledge, and then for it to somehow get on social media. So how do the Lakers go on from this point? I mean, who's the person that gets everybody together, and then how do you even address this to the media? It's only because now every single media outlet is going to be because they play the Heat tonight, and
they're going to be on it.
And if you haven't started placing your bets on that game, you might as well start all the money on the
Nah, see, don't do that. Because everybody's doing that. Yo, if you put a few dollars on what's the name on the Lakers, and if they win, you're rich.
Man, look.
Think about whoa, no. Think about the people who put money on that Golden State Warrior Lakers game. Mm-hmm. They're millionaires.
But there's a difference.
They're wealthy.
Here's the difference, though. The Lakers were preeminent underdogs going into that game, right? Golden State did not take the Lakers seriously at all going into that game.
And they got people paid.
And people did. Whoever bet on the Lakers did make
cashed
money.
in.
But the problem is the Lakers are actually a team at that point.
Yes.
What you want to call a team. Now you don't even trust. You don't
they're
trust
broken
your point
emotionally.
guard. You don't even trust your point guard, the guy that runs everything on your team.
But see, this is different because. But wait, all right. So
let me ask this question. So how did they progress on from this in the future, like moving forward?
You do your job.
How do you said
do your job?
But your job entails
because they're gonna have to pass it. He gonna have to get the ball and pass it.
Brandon, if me and you work at a factory, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We working at Mel America where I worked at during Christmas break. And yeah, man, it's a factory job, man. So,
okay.
So we're working there, right? Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm saying? This happens to us. You know, we're boys. And I'm like, you snake. Mm-hmm. What am I gonna do? Stop working with you on the factory so we can both get fired? No,
but these guys, but see, we can't compare.
We can't lower productive.
Yeah, that's a game.
Yeah, we can't. But I'm saying it's everyday regular people.
No, it's not the fact that everyday regular people. It's the fact that you still got to do your job.
But see, here's the thing: if you don't,
they ain't got to pass him the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Athletes,
they can do their job, but they ain't got to pass him the ball.
Athletes have a different liberty than regular people. Regular people, they can be like, a boss can be like, why aren't y'all as productive as y'all were before?
Exactly.
And you can get fired.
And
but the Lakers
same thing.
Sucked all season. What are they going to say?
Yeah.
What are they going to say to them now?
If they
stop sucking again? No, you've been sucking the whole season. I mean,
but you can tell when people are playing different than what you do, because think about it, they're all playing for their contracts. Nobody on this roster is safe, except honestly.
I mean, but they're already
Randall, Russell.
And some people said trade.
Rick, you don't trade them.
No.
It's the fact that they're saying they're fresh in their contract. They got a nice long contract right now. They're the only ones that's really safe. Everybody else is like fighting for their contract. Nick Young's fighting for his contract. Roy Hibbert's like fighting for a contract. They're fighting for contracts. You got to go out and perform. You got to do your run. You got like to do it or not. The dude who did that chunk for me, what's the name? We had races to win. I had to hand on the baton in track. I had to hand him the baton.
Well, see, that's the difference.
I had to like, yo, we got to win. I can't let this, whatever going on between us make us lose.
In track, if you have to hand him the baton to, to have your team continue racing. Basketball, he ain't even got to touch the ball. Like they ain't got to pass him the ball at all for them to score.
And the thing for D'Angelo Russell's case is he's in the wrong. Mm-hmm. So it's not like management's gonna come down and force these guys to be like, hey, you guys have to trust D'Angelo again, because D'Angelo's wrong. Even the organization came out and said, "Hey, well, I mean, they're isolating them. I mean, not much we can do." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's the stance that's at least being reported by Ramona Shelburne and the other Lakers beat reporters, is the fact that the organization doesn't. All these guys, like, who's gonna step up and be like, you know what, guys? Hey, Kobe's gone next year. Byron Scott might be gone next year. I don't know where Mitch Kupchak's going to be. Jim Buss might be gone. Lord knows he needs to be gone because we suck so bad. I mean, why are you going to keep the guy around? The only person that seems like she even has stake to say is Jeannie Buss.
Which she might be gone after next year. Because then she said she'll step down if they don't have one season.
They didn't kept their word. Jim Buss was fired 2 years ago. They didn't keep their word. Jim Buss was supposed to have been gone. She said, I was going to fire my brother if he couldn't give us a productive team in 2 years.
He was still there.
It's been 2 years.
He's still there.
And he's still here. So, yeah, they don't keep their word for squat. But it's one of those things that who's that person? Is it Kobe? Especially after we saw Kobe and Shaq? Kobe's going to be the guy that everybody. Hey, guys, look.
There's problems, but we got to work out.
You guys shouldn't have any beef.
Honestly, though, I think Kobe might do that. Because Kobe now regrets, like, both him and Shaq both regret not staying together because of how dominant they could have been for years to go.
Yes.
They might. Well, I mean, this team ain't no dominancy, but they might be thinking, "Hey, don't
suck some more.
Don't let this issue ruin what could be."
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, here's the only thing: what could be. And then the other thing is, Kobe's not around for what can be.
You're right.
Kobe's gonna be gone. So people are gonna say, you can say that, but you're gonna be gone. You have 8 games left in your season. We got to deal with this guy for the next year or whatever, through training camp. and everything. We got to deal with him for years going forward. So they're like, it's easy for you to say
he's a 20-point scorer. You
exactly. You can't just trade him.
This second half of the season for him has been great.
He averages 13 points on the season
for the whole season. The second half of the season
he's better than most
good.
He has to play better.
So I'm saying you don't want to get rid of this guy. You want to play with this guy because who else gonna score for you when Kobe's gone?
I mean, Jordan Clarkson been balling. I mean, he ain't no Kobe. And Kobe ain't been Kobe. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I mean, they still give Kobe respect and put somebody decent on Kobe to guard him.
Yeah,
now they're gonna take that decent person and put on Clarkson.
They do, but from the standpoint of it is just that now. I mean, I don't agree with this.
You just don't want to disrespect Kobe though.
This whole premise that they should trade D'Angelo Russell.
Oh,
that's
crazy.
Number 2 pick. I mean,
come
on, that's number 2 pick. But it's like, how do you get the guys? Because now, see how it affects the whole Lakers franchise. If I'm Kevin Durant, I want to go to somewhere in free agency. Why the heck do I want to go there? That place is just dysfunctional. They don't got nothing in order, and everything's just going wrong. And then apparently
you have a fear that somebody gonna videotape you.
This is LaMarcus Aldridge's fault.
Oh,
this is all his fault. This whole season is his fault.
This is LaMarcus Aldridge. Rashad, we're so bad. LaMarcus Aldridge would not have fixed this.
He would have made a difference.
No,
come on, yo.
I'm sorry. He would not
take away Roy Herbert's pitifulness and put in him.
No, he would not have fixed this.
I mean, he wouldn't have fixed it. He made it better.
We would have won about 10 or 5 more games.
We would have more than that.
He would have had the Melo effect. I'm sorry. He would have had the Melo effect.
Kobe would have been averaging more points.
I honestly
D'Angelo Russell would have been having more assists per game.
Kobe's taking more threes than he ever had in a season in his career.
Because he ain't got nobody.
You don't want to attack the basket.
He can't blow past anybody.
Yeah, he don't want to attack the basket.
I'm not trying to disrespect Kobe, but the fact of the matter is, you see the percentage where his shots come from the long twos, long threes. He can't blow by defenders like he used to. It's either tough contested threes, fadeaway mid-range shots, or at that instance where he gets by somebody and looks like we do a throwback Thursday for the dunk or whatever he gets, or a layup, or reverse layup. We celebrate Kobe's reverse layups now.
But do you know who can't do that stuff?
Who?
Russell. Ice in my veins.
Yeah, he can't do it. He can't. Well, I mean, he does it to a degree.
Ice in my veins.
I mean, my man has won 30-some point game this season. Let's not get carried away. But
it was 39.
But that's not gonna stop them. They're not gonna stop them from isolating the man.
Ice in my veins.
No, D'Angelo Russell can't.
Wait, this is what they should do.
That centerpiece, but even when Kobe was asked, who's that guy that you see handing the torch down? He said, I don't see nobody that can hand the torch down to the roster. He's not lying.
You're right.
Nobody's been that guy that he's like, okay, well, you know what? You're the next great. You're the next guy to carry us to promise. No, it's not.
And what's sad, they're not gonna find that in no 8 games.
This is how I look at this isolation thing. When they say isolate him, they mean isolate him on the court, let him ball out because he ice in his veins.
No,
that's
not what they do.
Isolation plays all day, all game.
Remember that SpongeBob meme where SpongeBob's sitting at the coffee table like this by himself? That's D'Angelo.
Nah.
That's what they mean by
isolation. Y'all take the isolation the wrong way. Isolation.
You can't sit at the main table.
Isolation is the isolation on the court. And even isolation in the locker room is isolation on the court.
Stop changing the report. Stop changing the report. The report obviously said isolation in general. No, he
isolation plays.
He got ice in his phone. That's for damn sure. He can't even keep the damn on videos on his phone. His phone's messed up. He need to keep the stuff on his phone. But
I think I mean got instant share on his phone or something.
He just gained as a basketball player a lot more respect from me because now I gotta gas him because nobody else will now. Just like I did the Jaguars, nobody else will, so someone has to.
So,
but you can't do that.
So what do you look for in this terms of credibility? Like, do you look to be a credible person in any kind of sports talk? Because do you look to be credible? Because you support.
What's wrong with supporting?
No. There's nothing wrong with supporting. But now you're like, I gotta gas him. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing to gas.
The 39-point game in ice my veins.
Okay, and so then when people gas Jimmy Butler, you had a problem with that. And he's actually a two-way player. So
exactly.
don't tell me
such thing as everybody's a two-way player. Everybody can guard.
So wait,
everybody plays offense. Everybody plays defense.
Okay, all right.
Some people just do it better. Some people just do it better. I don't like Jimmy Butler. Why didn't you say Kawhi Leonard?
No, I had to say Jimmy Butler because I know that's the root of
that's the one you don't like.
The reason why you don't like Jimmy Butler is because somebody was gassing him. Now you want to do the same hypocritical thing and gas D'Angelo Russell. What sense does that make?
Because nobody likes D'Angelo Russell now. That's the difference. See, like people like Jimmy Butler. Everybody liked Jimmy Butler when they was gassing him. Nobody likes D'Angelo. So he needs that gas support.
You're just hating.
Just like the Jaguars. Yeah. You had those people that was like, I'm a Jaguars fan, on the side, raise your hand. It's like kind of high up a little bit. That's what you got to gas them. That's what.
Oh my God, no.
But I don't even gas the Jaguars like that. I just like them now. Actually, I'm a fan. I can honestly say I'm a true fan of the Jaguars.
People commented. I'm so sorry if I did not read your comments. It was a topic, but Rudy Henderson comments, do you think that the negative perception of D'Angelo along with the disarray of the organization will hurt the Lakers in fielding free agents?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just so dysfunctional. And then when he said, what if the trade is for DeMarcus Cousins and a pick? Honestly, it's definitely going to hurt their ability to get free agents. But even if you trade for DeMarcus Cousins and a pick, you're just bringing Sacramento here. We don't got nothing around them that would make DeMarcus Cousins any more productive than he's being in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
It would pretty much be the same scenario. Even if you got a pick, it wouldn't be if you trade D'Angelo Russell away. He's the guy that you'd want pairing with DeMarcus Cousins, Julius Randle, and Jordan Clarkson. So you trade him away, and any GM that makes that decision to trade D'Angelo Russell,
that's crazy,
and DeMarcus Cousins, you need to be ashamed of yourself. Vlade Divac, if you ever did that, traded DeMarcus Cousins and a pick for D'Angelo Russell, that's a shame. That's a highway robbery. There's no way you're telling me you're trading the best big man in the game for a rookie averaging 13, 3, and 2 turnovers. No.
Look at him from the second half of the season, averaging 20 something. Got a couple more assists.
Rashad, look at Jimmy Butler's season. Don't say that. Look at Jimmy Butler's season. Yes,
trash.
Exactly. And so D'Angelo Russell's second half. You know what? No.
It's better.
We don't talk about Jimmy Butler here. This is a no Jimmy Butler zone.
Not doing it. No, because this is going to turn into a debate that obviously is this an obvious point, but then you're not going to go with it at all. Just to stick to your guns, just to stick to your roots. And then
all right. Jimmy Butler is better. All right, Jimmy Butler is better than D'Angelo Russell.
No, that's not the question.
What's the question?
That's not the question. It's the question of Jimmy Butler's a good player, and just admit it. He's a good player.
He's a good. Yeah, that's all good.
But he's not better than. Now you're right in the sense he's not better than LeBron and Steph. But your hatred for him is invalid.
No, it's not.
Unvalidated.
It's because they said he's better than him, and they're just gassing way too much.
You're giving way more reasons for D'Angelo Russell now. So you hate D'Angelo Russell. You're saying, people gas Jimmy Butler. You're doing the same thing.
But people don't build hate for players like I do.
But
my God.
People don't build that kind of hate.
You know that?
Like the whole world not gonna build their hate because of KBR Sports.
Man, people hated LeBron.
Yeah, you seen Twitter? Man, people will hate somebody. They want to hate somebody. Kyrie didn't do nothing wrong. My man's in 10,000 memes.
My man got cheated though.
Well, I don't. Let's not just.
You're not gonna disclose that.
Let's not just throw that out there. We don't got all the facts.
Don't you play tonight? Don't you play the Rockets tonight? Was it tonight or was it last night?
They played last night.
How many he have?
They lost.
How many he have?
Yeah, like 20.
Then because LeBron
not enough. Yeah, that 45.
Oh my God.
He didn't win her back.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Okay. On gas prices.
On to the next one.
Yeah. Okay. And Rudy commented back and said, "Well, we are talking about the Kings. Yeah, we are talking about the Kings, but that's the same Kings that held out on pulling the trigger on trading for D'Angelo Russell earlier in the season when he had all that hype behind him. And D'Angelo Russell has shown the potential to be a great player in the NBA, but
Rudy, ice in my veins.
It's one of those things that hey, he was wrong in this instance. He's wrong in this instance, and now all the free agents looking. Kevin Durant's a free agent this summer. You look at all the guys. LeBron's a free agent this summer. I mean, everybody assumes he's not leaving Cleveland, but you look at all the free agents coming out this year, and you're just like, man, that is not the place to be. DeMar DeRozan, Bradley Beal, all these guys are free agents. So now you're looking at Los Angeles, and you're like, this is honestly just
city's
awesome.
nice.
The only player that's like I can go to Los Angeles and get along there is Andre Karolinko. It's the only guy.
They just need to sit down and have
a
conference with everybody, the whole organization, and just discuss this.
Yeah, it's awful. But yeah, we gotta go on, guys. So we're gonna move on to Jim Irsay's comments about the link between football and CTE. I don't know what it is about these owners. All these owners making comments about CTE and all this and that, and now they're.
I don't know. This man straight downplayed it though.
But it's weird to me because you got Jerry Jones from last week. Now you got Jim Irsay making his comments this week. So because the owners meeting was held last week about about the whole rules committee and everything, and a lot of the owners felt as though, is it raining?
Nah, that's the air conditioner. I think.
But a lot of the owners were, this whole concussion movie and all this, after the owner, after one of the vice president of player health and safety regulations came out, and it said without a doubt there's a link between CTE and football. Now all these owners are giving out, releasing statements about it. And Jerry Jones last week was cited as saying that it was absurd, and he got a whole lot of backlash for it. And then he went back and justified he clarified his comments more so. But Jim Irsay went on to say this week that I believe that the game has always been a risk, and the way people look at it, you take an aspirin, I take an aspirin, it might give you extreme side effects of illness in your body, may reject it, where I would be fine. So there is so much we don't know. I was there. I know that's a lie. When he was talking about the reports about the post-career health for players in the 1960s or 70s, he said, I was there. I know that's a lie. No one knew anything. The only thing we know and always knew is when you strap on that helmet and go out on the field, boy, you are taking a risk, but the reward is something. It's worth it. And he obviously said, he went on to say, obviously, we are not going to go into the situation where we put players in almost like balloon-like equipment, where it becomes like a pillow fight, so to speak. And then Jim Irsay, I guess, on wordplay, because you obviously had to know the backlash Jerry Jones got for using the word absurd. But then he went on to say, in reference to football tying in with the suicides and murders players have been committing, he said, I believe that is just so absurd as well. And it is harmful to other diseases, harmful to things like when you get into the use of steroids, when you get into substance abuse, you get into the illness of alcohol and addiction. It's all things that contribute to it as well. And so, and if read Jerry Jones' comments from last week, he said, all I said that we, the NFL, have not changed. That is not an indication that we've changed anything, or it's not something we just started the last several years. We've been looking at ways to improve the safety, looking for ways to assist in research and acting on it. So from that standpoint, I think the question was, have you changed your direction in the NFL? And the answer to that was no. So what do you guys think about Jim Irsay's comments about the link between football and CTE? Khalid, we'll start with you. What do you think about him?
Well, some of these comments is just like, man, like how could you like say some of these things when these players, these are things you gain revenue from your players. So to say that these things, you take aspirin, I take aspirin, I get side effects, this, that, and the third. So to completely downplay the disease and say it's not connected, these people play the game every day, risking, like you said, it is a risk, but they risk the game every day, risk the safety of their mental state to to go out there and get wins for you, and you downplay it like this. I feel like you have to take into account those players. They may because you said they're not connected to like murders or suicides and stuff like that, but mental damage, like mental brain damage, can do so like something. It can really change a person completely. Like so they can be a happy-go-lucky person and turn into a complete, somebody like completely different, just by getting a brain injury. So for him to be saying these things about these connections to CTE, I feel like he's not being considerate about the players. I feel like if he was in like a player's shoes and had a fear of having CTE, he would understand it a little bit more and have more compassion. But he is an owner and he doesn't make the money from it. I understand you want to keep your money, your revenue or whatever, and you get keep your players healthy or get the money, make sure they play, and so you can make your money. But you got to think that in the long run, it's gonna look bad on the NFL if all these players are like dying or having these mental diseases because of the way you didn't what's the word I'm looking for? Consider the circumstances of CTE.
All right, Rashad, what do you think about it?
I just want to start off by saying, Jim Irsay had the worst choice of words for this.
Bruh.
The worst. And it's not even like the little Jerry Jones hint type stuff. It's, do y'all remember with the Greg Hardy, come out guns blazing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's talking about, if you take painkillers, I take painkillers. It affects you different than it affects me type thing. My man battled addiction to painkillers.
Yeah.
So
that's a good note.
Yeah.
That's
so like it gets you high, it puts them in a coma state.
Mm-hmm.
So you're using pitiful choice of words here. So
he is a former rehab. Guy in rehab. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's first of all, that's a pitiful choice of words. Don't use that as an example for people who's having brain problems and stuff like that from taking hit. But at the same time, I understand why he's trying to not relate, because he's trying to protect the sport in itself. Because if people start like, yeah, it's a relation. Well, I don't know if I want to play anymore. I might start retiring. There's gonna be, there's always gonna be people ready to play the sport. Regardless, they're gonna take that risk. But at the same time, like I feel like the popularity of the league will start declining. And as an owner, you don't want that. You don't want the sport you're an owner for to die down because of post career like
Injuries.
I can say injuries. Yeah, you can call it an injury or mental states. You don't want that to happen. You don't want something to affect in the immediate, because like you did say, like if they don't say nothing now, it's going to affect it in the long run. But at the same time, they don't want it to affect it right now either. So you're going to try to like support the game instead of supporting the medical standpoint of everything right now. So I kind of understand why he's doing it. Can I say right or wrong? What do you do? I mean, I can't say he's voicing his own opinion. He's voicing his opinion on it, just like a lot of other people have voiced their opinion. Like the Lions do. The Lions player voiced his opinion on what Jim Irsay said. So everybody's going to voice their opinion. You can't really go against how they feel about it because everybody feels different. You have the people that want to retire early because they don't want that to happen to them. You have the people that's like, well, I'm gonna play regardless. So you can't. I don't know.
Well, I feel as though his comments were like I feel like they can be inconsiderate depending on, because if you ask like the family of Junior Seau, a lot of these families that have had people die from CTE, because CTE is not something that you can test until a person's dead, so you don't know if they have it until they're dead. So I feel as though it could be a little bit inconsiderate to them. I understand exactly what Rashad's saying, because I feel as though his comments are, because the NFL, I mean, the owners are and stuff are the NFL, like that's their brand, so they're trying to protect the shield, they're trying to protect the league. But in that same sense, even though you're trying to protect the shield, you can't give off this fake perception as if the NFL isn't connected to CTE when you're vice president of health and player health and regulation.
So it definitely is.
There definitely is a connection. So when you have your guy, what's his name? Something Miller. I can't remember his name fully, but when he comes out and says a statement like that, and for Jerry Jones and for you to say that use a word, especially when you saw Jerry Jones had the backlash of saying the word absurd, and then you use a figurative terms of words to use the word absurd, then somebody could be like, okay, well, all right, man, because that to use that word can show a kind of a bit of inconsiderateness that you should show in the situation to all those people that's families have suffered from players dying from CTE or the next fourth. So as far and the thing that makes it weird for me is because the New York Times released a statement talking about how, I actually have the article right here actually, talking about how the NFL from concussions from the time period of 1996, I believe, through 2001. Yeah. So the NFL was trying to order the New York Times to print a retraction on the story that the NFL had covered up over 100 diagnosed concussions that were left out of the studies that were conducted through 1996 through 2001. And stars like Steve Young and Troy Aikman were among the players who suffered concussions that were not accounted for. And then 0 concussions involving Dallas Cowboy players were documented in the NFL's research during that period. And then the research was published in 13 peer-reviewed articles beginning in October 2003, and was supposed to be based on a full account of all diagnosed concussions from team doctors that had been reported from 1996 to 2001. So when you're missing, and that's 10% of the total
lot of information.
Yeah, that's 10% of the total number of concussions that took place. So when you're looking at something like that, and you see a report like that, and it's like, what is the NFL trying to hide kind of thing? Even though they're trying to ask for a refraction from the New York Times, you ask the kind of things like, what are they trying to hide and whatnot? And I know they're trying to, because now the players have more information than they ever had about concussions. And like Rashad said, it's a choice. If somebody gets concussion, they're like, I can keep playing, coach. And the coach has to legit keep their helmet away from them. Then that's one of those things that players is a choice, but you also have to protect the players in the same sense. And maybe people that are looking to play football down the line, they should know this information, that the two things can have a link, especially for young kids playing, because that's when your brain is still developing. So all that head trauma you take can affect you down the long run, especially as we see now, high schoolers are more athletic than they ever been, faster, stronger. And so when he says things like this, and now it seems like the owners are trying to kind of create the bridge that no, there's not a connect, when somebody that is the vice president of your health and regulations already said there is. It's kind of contradictory. I mean, do you guys have any last things to say about this before we go on to the next thing?
It's going to be, you all have people, you never really have people in the middle. You always have people far to the left or far to the right on the situation. So it's going to be hard to find the people who try to accommodate both in a sense, because you're either right or you're wrong in some people's eyes.
All right,
you can't change that.
Kyler, what about you? Do you have anything else to say? Or
I do feel like they may be trying to they was trying to cover something up, just the loss of all the information. And Jim Irsay his choice of words just wasn't good at all. And if you're trying to have a standpoint on this matter, you should have more words that aren't like absurd. Absurd is just a harsh word.
All right. Yeah, I totally, man. It's this whole situation, because now that whole concussion, the whole settlement the league had with the players beforehand has been reopened up, and now they have to redebate this in court again over this whole concussion matter. So we'll see how that plays out. But going on to our last topic is actually going to be our Final Four predictions going to college basketball, gentlemen. And we have Oklahoma going against Villanova and Syracuse playing UNC, matchup of the ACC. So who do you guys have winning in these Final Four matchups to round out to go into the championship game? And the Final Four games will actually be played on April 2nd. So who do you guys have? Your picks. Colin, how about you? Who do you have?
I got Oklahoma in the game against Villanova, and surprisingly, I got Syracuse for the game against UNC.
All right, Rashad, what about you?
I got Oklahoma beating Villanova, and I got UNC beating Syracuse.
Okay, and as the stat line goes right now, Villanova is a 2-point favorite over Oklahoma, and UNC is practically a 10-point favorite over Syracuse.
Now you can't look at that with that game, because I kind of like the NFL division
I don't know, Syracuse,
when you play
Syracuse
always gives us a run for our money. And the thing is, we can't shoot. We can't shoot. And if we can't shoot them out that, well, they're never gonna get out the 2-3 zone. But we can't knock down shots in the 2-3 zone, we're gonna lose.
That zone is a problem. That zone's giving everybody. That zone took UVA for a problem. But it'd be different. Yeah, it'd be different if they didn't see it as often. But I mean,
UVA saw it constantly. That's the thing, and we see it all the time too.
Yeah, you think that you'd be accustomed to playing against the zone, but we see how it plays out. Because sometimes
Syracuse team is a different breed.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Oklahoma. I'm going to pick UNC because I have faith that Marcus Page and the rest of the guards will show up to play. The minute I said it, I felt regret. Like, I felt regret the minute I said Marcus Page and the rest of the guards have to show up. Like, I don't know why I felt regret.
Because our guard play has been great.
Our
guard play has been great this tournament.
Y'all have played a lot better. But it's one of those things that you just never know when the moment gets so big. Since when was the last? I think last time UNC won the championship was 2009. Am I correct?
Yeah,
2008. So the last time they won the championship,
Tyler Hansbrough.
Yeah, it's been a while, and UNC has been known. I mean, I've seen Barack Obama's bracket. He has consistently picked UNC to win the championship, and they've never proven the president right. And this year, he actually went away from picking UNC, and he picked Michigan State, I believe. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, and then they lose. I'm like, yo, Obama,
stop choosing these teams.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, bro. But so it's one of those things that sometimes it seems as though on the biggest stage, sometimes they fold, and it seems as though Syracuse, when you're a team that's seen as the underdog, like they're 9.5 point underdogs. So when you're a team seen as the underdog, there's less pressure on you. You know what I mean? And what, Syracuse was a 13 seed?
No, they're 10.
They're 10 seed. They're 10
See,
seed.
the thing about that is, I honestly attribute their other than the UVA game, their big run in the tournament because teams haven't played Syracuse. Teams have never won against this Syracuse team and seen what they're all about.
What about UVA?
Now, UVA is a different story. UVA blew the league because they just choked under pressure and they just couldn't break a press.
They've never done that. That's the crazy thing.
But see, this is what happened when they played that press. They made UVA play faster than what they should have played. UVA is more of a slower team. You make them go faster. You make Fuentes take some awful shots like he started doing in the second half. Cost them the game. But you get them out. You can't get like the way UNC's lost a lot of their games is either the teams just crazy outshoot them, they hit a game winner, or they slow the game up completely, which is like a UVA did.
But here's the thing for even UVA in that game. Even when they sped the game up, UVA had all the looks they wanted. They got 2-on-1 fast breaks preemptively, and they just weren't finished it. That's pretty much what it was, because that's why even Jim Boeheim said once they got the lead, he went out of the press, because UVA just kept getting 2-on-1 that they honestly were just missing. Yeah, because it would be they break the press with ease, then it would be guys just going into the rim, and then they would miss layups. That's essentially what it was. So UVA thing is I mean, UVA and UNC are two different beasts. I mean, UNC is a more well-rounded team than UVA, but what makes UNC great is when they can hit shots, and that's the only trepidation I have with UNC is if Marcus Pay. I mean, yeah.
But the thing is, like where we're about to play at, no team has really been hitting there. Like this all season, like the spot, the location, like all tournament, everything. It's been every team's been struggling. So that's why we got to rely on Bryce Johnson, Kennedy Meeks, Isaiah Hicks.
In their zone.
Oh no.
I mean, we do. They do already get in the zone. When we played them earlier,
that's it. But
it's just those games come close. It's just I don't want this game to be close. Our games need to stay how they are. Where they start off a little slow and we pick it up, and then they need to stay like that.
And that's the only thing for me because I always look at it the regular season. Like when you know your season's on the line. There's a difference between when you know, hey man, we're playing them now. We're playing them in what? January. We'll be fine. We'll see them down the road. But when you're playing them, this is all the marbles. Let's go to the championship. And you play, man, palms start getting sweaty, forehead start going like whoop. You never know what's gonna go down. I mean, but we haven't talked about Oklahoma Villanova. So guys, quickly,
because Villanova, man, that team is so efficient. That's the most efficient team right now in the tournament. Like you can't help a team that's shooting 65% in the tournament. Like it's insane. It's insane. They're averaging 100 points per game in this tournament. Like, how do you stop that? With a guy called Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
But I mean, Buddy Hield himself can't do it. Everybody has to step up in this game because Villanova. If you honestly to beat Oklahoma, no team's done it yet. Focus. Stop Buddy Hield. Make the other team beat you.
But here's the problem. Even when they did that, Isaiah Cousins went off against Texas A&M.
That's what you want.
That's what happened against Texas A&M.
I know.
Buddy Hield was off. Isaiah Cousins, Woodard, they all went off.
You gotta hope that doesn't happen. You gotta stop the man.
I mean, you can't rely on hope. Definitely,
you have to. You can't let this man Buddy Hield go off for 37.
I just know game superstars win games, and as far as college goes, Buddy Hield has been a superstar. So we'll see how that plays out. But guys, it's gonna wrap it up for today's show. It's been KBR Sports, the best sports talk show every 24-hour day, coming to you on WODU Studios, the best in college radio. Check us out on our KBR Sports YouTube channel. You can see our past shows and past segments on there. And also check out our Twitter page at KBR_sports, when you can tweet us live during the show. We'll read out your tweets and comments. And also comment on the YouTube channel. Sorry, guys. I had to get reminded about the comments. It's hard to be in the camera and then looking at the computer at the same time. I'm sorry. But, yeah, you can also comment on the YouTube page, and we'll read your comments aloud like we did this show. And then also listen to us on Rabble TV. You could get the Rabble app. So that if you're going somewhere, you get the Rabble app, or if you want to, you can get on Spreaker, and then you can listen to our podcast and on iTunes as well.
iTunes, yeah. And everybody got iTunes on your phone.
Exactly. So you can do all those things, and also to call in to join in our debates. The number 757-683-4405. And don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe to the YouTube channel and to tell them that we stream every Monday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great day.